Hey, what's up guys? This is Pratima and today I have with me potentially the phone of the year contender, the Vivo X300 Pro. I have been using this phone for a couple of weeks now, and I also have the regular Vivo X300, which looks like a great tiny compact phone that's going to give like serious competition to the iPhone 17. Now, if you remember, the Vivo X200 Pro was considered the best phone of the year by many because of how ridiculously good its cameras were. And I think this year with the X300 Pro, Vivo has not made like huge changes, but honestly for the right reasons. There are small yet meaningful upgrades in just the right areas. But the big question is this again the phone of the year? And will it make me switch from my Galaxy S25 Ultra to this as my daily driver? Well, let me tell you all about my experience in this video, so let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the best thing about this phone, and it has to be once again the telephoto zoom camera. Vivo has been the portrait king ever since the X100 Pro, and then the X200 Pro continued that legacy. Now the X300 Pro takes it even further. They have upgraded from the already excellent Samsung HP9 sensor to the brand new HPV sensor, and this thing is just fantastic. This year, it's a 200 megapixel 3.5x telephoto lens compared to last year's 3.7x setup. And oh my god, the portraits from this phone are just stunning. They are so good that they put even the newly launched iPhone 17 Pro Max to shame. As you can see from these samples, we get vibrant, detailed photos almost in all kinds of lighting with pleasing blur, and the edge detection is ridiculously accurate, even around tricky areas like the hair and ears. What really impressed me though is the shutter speed. I am on a photo walk right now, and even when I shoot moving subjects like those people right there, the output comes out nice and sharp. It has sort of that camera kind of vibe. It's really good. If you didn't know, Vivo uses two dedicated imaging chips this time here, the VS1 for pre-processing and the V3 Plus for post-processing. And I guess that's probably why the shutter speed feels so fast. Also, while other brands like Google and Samsung and Apple are still using 48 megapixel or 50 megapixel telephoto lenses, Vivo's implementation of a 200 megapixel sensor also means that I can shoot portraits not just at 3.5x, which is roughly 85 mm, but there's also an option for 135 mm portraits, and those cropped portraits still look incredibly sharp and detailed. So for me, it's super versatile. And this 200 megapixel camera also absolutely crushes macro photography. Most phones use the ultra-wide lens for macro shots, but Vivo uses this telephoto lens instead that gives incredible depth of field and crazy sharp details. I also like the zooming ability of the Vivo X300 Pro. We get optical quality clarity up to 10x, and even beyond that up to 100x digital zoom, and the AI processing smoothens out the image very nicely. I mean, sure, it's not perfect, but if you're trying to shoot something really far away like that board right there which has a lot of text, it can come really handy. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, zooming in up to 100x and shoot. And it's processing. Tada! Everything is just so visible. It's awesome. And even during low light, it delivers pretty sharp, detailed, and usable shots up to 10x zoom. The photos maintain optical level clarity with almost no visible noise. Plus, when I compare this telephoto lens side by side with the iPhone's new 48 megapixel 4x telephoto, you can see from this screen recording, Vivo not only processed the image faster, but its final output was also sharper and cleaner. Overall, for portraits, zoom, and macro photos, this setup is my absolute favorite. This telephoto camera has been my default camera mode whenever I'm taking photos of my friends or doing product photography. I skip the main 1x lens and I go straight to the 3.5x mode. It's just that good. Now, talking about the main wide camera, I think the X200 Pro was already really good. It had a solid A-grade main camera, but with the X300 Pro, Vivo has taken things even further and upgraded to an A+ camera. Looks like Vivo has refined the image processing and optimization this time around. Their collaboration with Zeiss feels more powerful and fine-tuned than ever. This year, Vivo has used the Sony IMX828 sensor, the same one we've seen on the Oppo Find X9 Pro as well. And what I really like about Vivo's photos, especially when shot in Zeiss natural color mode, is how well balanced they look. Even compared with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, the highlight retention is even better here. The mid-tone control is on point and the contrast feels just right. The white balance is also very natural this time around, and with the larger aperture, there's also a nice shallow depth of field separating the subject from the background very nicely. That gives the photos a natural sense of depth. So overall, the photos taken in daylight look very balanced in the Zeiss natural mode. Of course, you can also switch to the default vivid mode, but personally, I am not a big fan of that because it can sometimes look a bit too punchy for my taste. I mostly stick to the Zeiss natural mode for that true to life look. By the way, I will also be doing a detailed camera comparison of the Vivo X300 Pro with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, so stay tuned for that. Now, another thing I really appreciate this time is the color consistency across all of the three lenses, the main, the ultra-wide and the telephoto. Even in low light, the X300 Pro also holds up extremely well. The glare control is fantastic. Even when shooting bright light sources at night, the reflections and the halos are very well managed and the overall dynamic range looks clean and balanced. However, the one area where I think Vivo could have done better is the ultra-wide camera. They have reused the same Samsung JN1 ultra-wide sensor as before, and it's not particularly wide. It's around 15 mm, so it's definitely narrower than iPhone's 13 mm ultra-wide lens. It would have been amazing if Vivo had included something like the Sony LYT828 here for the ultra-wide, but I think they deliberately did not do that, most likely because they're saving that for the upcoming X300 Ultra, which is rumored to finally launch globally this time. So yeah, while the main and the telephoto cameras are absolutely flagship level, the ultra-wide still is a slight step below. It's not as detailed, does not have a wide field of view, but during daytime you can still get nice colors and dynamic range as the main camera. It's just that the ultra-wide lens on the X200 Ultra was just so good. Another big upgrade on the Vivo X300 Pro is the selfie camera. It's now a 50 megapixel sensor, up from 32 megapixels, and for the first time, it also comes with autofocus. I compared it directly with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which also has a fantastic front camera, and as you can see, Vivo tends to produce slightly brighter and punchier selfies, while the iPhone offers a slightly wider frame. Now, iPhone selfies aren't bad at all. In fact, they look really balanced and muted. But personally, if I had to choose, I would say Vivo selfies look a bit more pleasing and likable overall. Skin tones and textures look really good too. They're smooth but not overly processed. They're just the right amount of detail. So yeah, overall, I am really liking Vivo's selfie camera game this year. And even the videography game has improved a lot this year. I remember just a few years ago, Vivo's video performance used to be quite a bit behind what iPhone was doing. But now with the X300 Pro, I think Vivo has closed that gap really well. It produces excellent video quality from all of the three lenses during daylight. As you can see from these samples, the footage has nice detail, solid stabilization, although with cropping, but the colors are rich and lively, just like we saw in the photos. So yes, while the iPhone 17 Pro Max is still arguably the best video camera smartphone out there, the difference between the two is now very minimal. Vivo still struggles slightly with exposure handling in tricky lighting conditions, and the lens switching isn't as smooth as the iPhones, but yeah, Vivo is definitely catching up. We also get a ton of shooting options here. We can shoot log video, Dolby Vision HDR, and even 4K at 120 FPS from both the main and the telephoto lenses.
I like the selfie videos from the Vivo X300 Pro as well. They're wide enough, not as wide as the iPhone, but wide enough. I would say I'm shooting at 4K 60 FPS right now. The stabilization is good and the skin tone looks nice enough. What do you guys think?
Okay, so I think I have covered almost everything about the camera on the Vivo X300 Pro, but let's talk about the other aspects of this phone, which have honestly not changed too drastically. Starting with the design, I really like the new direction Vivo has taken this year. Both the front and the back are now completely flat, which has pretty much become the norm for most flagship phones these days. Surprisingly, the phone actually feels more ergonomic this time. I remember the Vivo X200 Pro felt extremely top heavy, but with the X300 Pro, Vivo has made this better. It still feels slightly top heavy, mainly because of this large camera module, but overall it sits better in the hand and feels more comfortable to use. Now, if I compare it to the OnePlus 15, which I've also been using recently, I would say that OnePlus has a slightly better in-hand feel, and that's mostly because OnePlus uses a smaller camera sensor, making it more balanced, while Vivo's massive sensors make the top a bit heavier. But still, I really like this year's flat design, and because of that, there are no more accidental touches on the display like we had on the X200 Pro. And the display, it's not a major upgrade from the Vivo X200 Pro, but it's still a fantastic one. You get a 120Hz refresh rate, high-frequency PWM dimming, there's DC dimming, Dolby Vision support, and a super fast fingerprint scanner. Basically, everything that you would expect from a flagship display. Performance-wise, we get the new Dimensity 9500 chipset, which is almost on par with Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon flagship in almost all areas. It might fall slightly short in single-core and GPU benchmarks, but in real-world usage, this is a flagship-level chip through and through. What's also worth mentioning is the new Origin OS, finally on a global variant, and with the Origin OS, we get smoother animations, cleaner visuals, and better responsiveness overall. It's not perfect and as good as Oxygen OS, for example, but it's definitely catching up. Next, battery life has also improved. We get a slightly bigger 6500 mAh battery, and I am easily getting a day and a half to 2 days of use on moderate usage here. Well, it's still not quite at the level of the OnePlus 15 or the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max when it comes to endurance, but overall, the battery life here is solid. So yeah, Vivo may not be winning any awards for the design, display, performance, or software, but all of these things are A to A plus experiences that you expect from a true flagship phone. The only thing that I would say Vivo still needs to improve is the speakers. The sound is decent, but the bass is lacking. Well, it's not a deal breaker, but it's one area where Vivo can definitely do better next year. Alright, so with that, we have come to the end of this video, and honestly speaking, I really love the new Vivo X300 Pro. For me, right now, this is the phone to beat. Yes, there's still another strong contender coming up, the Oppo Find X9 Pro, which I've actually ordered and it's arriving in about a week, so stay tuned for that video as well. But what I can say right now for sure is that I am not going back to my S25 Ultra. This is going to be my daily driver for the next few months just because of how ridiculously good the cameras are, especially that telephoto lens. That's my go-to lens these days. Every time I see something interesting, that's the one I reach out for. And what I am even more excited for is the upcoming Vivo X300 Ultra, which is supposed to go global very soon. That one's going to have a better ultra-wide camera, and that phone is actually built to go head-to-head with the S25 Ultra and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Guys, we are at Basantapur right now, and everyone here is clicking pictures with their iPhone, but I wish I could tell them that I have a better camera phone.